Alright guys, so a common question that I actually get all the time is how many units should I order on my first order from Alibaba? And this is an interesting question, right? Because most people assume that minimum order quantities, or sometimes you see it called MOQs, are kind of a steadfast thing that has no room for negotiation. And this is a complete myth. Minimum order quantities are completely up for negotiation, as is everything else with your supplier. When they first tell you a price, that's not the end price, it's just what they want preferably, right? So always think about everything that you kind of do and say between you and your supplier as kind of the initiation of a negotiation, right? And you don't have to go too far, like trying to get 1 cent off after you've already negotiated a bunch of times, but just be reasonable and just realize that nothing's set in stone, and a lot of stuff you can kind of change to be more beneficial for yourself. So how many units should I order, right? So this goes back to our first module in the training, talking about product research, right? So once you've iTrack 999 a product, right? So you're looking at the top 5 probably organic results in a niche that you're considering entering and adding value to. And once you kind of have that average number, let's say that you've been tracking the top 5 for 7 days and you found that the average of the top 5 per day in sales is 4, right? So basically how you do that, right, is you just come down here, you add you add your products here, and so you do your top 5, you do the iTrack method, and then you get an average, right? So let's look at this one example. So they sell 2 a day, 2 here, 2 here, 3 here, 6, 2, and 5, right? So for a total of 7 days, the average is about 20, right? So, and you'd have a number here if you had one before, right? But so you divide this number, right? The number of days that you've actually calculated sales by 6, right? And so 20 divided by 6 is 3.3, right? So you'd say that you can very safely assume that it sells at least 3 units per day, right? And so once you do that for your top 5 and you get a total average, the averages of the 5 averages, then you can feel very safe that if you bring into the market a product that has similar quality to that you can sell at least that many units, right? And so something that we've talked about before in the previous training when we discussed FBA fees is something called long-term storage, right? And so what this is after 6 months or 180 days, Amazon starts charging you 22 times more per cubic foot of inventory that you're storing inside of Amazon FBA warehouses. And so why this is important, guys, is this is irreverent of actual holidays and outside factors, which I'll talk about in a second. This is the very most basic way to do an inventory forecast, right? So if it's selling 3 units per day, right? So 3 units per day times 180 units, right? Because you don't want to be inside or outside of the long-term storage, right? So if it's selling 3 units per day, 180 is days, right? Because it's 6 months is when the long-term storage kicks in. So 180 days times 3 units per day, right? So you'd feel very comfortable ordering 540 units for your very first order, right? Because you'd feel comfortable that you could sell at least that many units in the time allocation Amazon gives you before they start charging you ridiculous fees for long-term storage. And so another thing to consider, guys, is seasonality and holidays, right? So if you're specifically buying a product, let's say you're buying, a pool toy or something going into the summer holidays in the United States, and you're, planning it ahead that it's going to take 30 days to manufacture, 30 days to ship, and then, maybe like a week to process through the Amazon FBA warehouse. Then you'd wanna set up your inventory forecasts with a little bit of leeway for your seasonality or holidays, right? So if you're selling a gift for moms and you want it to be in time just for Mother's Day, then for those type of events, I usually allocate between 2 and 10 times more per day than what I would do kind of in a normal day. And that's the same with Christmas, right? So most Amazon sellers see anywhere between 2 times to 10 times more sales volume during Q4 and during holidays that their products specifically are relevant for. And so you guys could check out these write-ups that I've done. I kind of try to lay it out as simply as possible. If you have any questions at all, make sure you reach out to me in the student group. But that's the way that I decide how many units to order on my first order, and feel very safe about it that I'm going to be able to sell them before long-term storage kicks in. And then just once you think about the holidays and kind of plan out your timeline there, then you're gonna be good to go, guys. So we'll see you in the next one.